Good internet signal too. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to All Angles Boxing and Combat Sports channel. Bringing to you live today. We've got Ray and Arlene Corona coming from Riverside. Is it Riverside, California, or San
Rialto.
Bernardino? Say again, Ray.
Rialto.
Rialto, California. That's right. So we're going to interview them, the third man in the ring. They also have a son who is also a pro boxer as well, Adrian Corona. And Arlene is the backbone of the whole show. So we're going to be asking her a lot of questions as well. All right. So go ahead. We're going to start with this, and then we'll start asking questions. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, welcome to All Angles Boxing and Combat Sports channel. Again, like I said, we got Ray and Arlene Corona joining us live. We're going to go through. First of all, I want to talk to Omar. Omar, how was your weekend, sir?
Wasn't bad. Just watched the fights this weekend. Didn't do much. Stayed at home.
All right.
Worked, and just today just watching the football games. That's pretty much it.
All right.
Yeah.
Football's all day today. We drove from LA today, so we had a few errands to run ourselves. You were able to catch some of the fights, right, Omar?
Yeah. I watched the main event mostly, and then I watched the Chapita fight, and
right.
That's about it. Yeah.
All right, we'll cover that there shortly. Caesar, how was your weekend, my man?
What's up, guys? It was good, man. I did a lot of relaxing. Didn't watch any fights. I'll be honest with you. I really don't watch fights. If I actually looked for fights because I was interested in the fight that you were a part of, Dave, and there was another kid that fights out of Southgate that I was curious about watching, and but I didn't see any. Just had a little barbecue at my mom's and relaxed. And did some baseball coaching for my nephew's team, and pretty much stayed away from boxing this weekend. But except for now, which I'm back, which is very rare because I love boxing. I'm always involved one way or another doing something. But this is my fix right now. This show. So I'm glad to be back.
All right. So first of all, Omar, we're going to let you ask Ray and Arlene any questions that you may have. And then we'll go to Caesar, and then we'll come back to me, and I'll lay it all down too.
Yeah, I guess my first question would be, what was your start in refereeing? Like when did you start, and how you got into it?
Yeah, I started in 1998. We went to training for a whole year. We had to go to training for a whole year. You couldn't miss a Saturday or nothing. So we trained. It was like 40 of us in the class, and I ain't gonna lie, guys. I just like you know what, I'm gonna try it, but I don't think I'm gonna get it because, mind you, a lot of the referees are police officers, fire chiefs, district attorneys, and you know me, you know what I mean. So
you probably had more experience refereeing fights than they did, though.
not necessarily, but you know what I mean. Like they teased me, man. I was probably in the courtroom or got arrested by him or something, prior to that. So I tried it because my wife, thank God my wife, Arlene, she encouraged me to go and try it, so, but I went, thank God, for a whole year. And then at the end of that year, there was only, I think it was 6 referee spots open. So we had a test in the ring, they did dropping the mouthpiece, double knockdowns, and I did it. And then we just left, and they said, hey, we'll let you know if you guys made it. Again, there was like 25, 30 guys trying out for 6 referee positions. And, I pretty much drove home just thinking, you know what, I tried, but I can't see myself getting it, And back then I wasn't a Christian, bro. Now I'm a believer. So I would like to think it was God's plan, because sure enough, 2 weeks later, man, like a little kid, like a college kid, a high school kid going to college, I got the letter, and I told the wife, you know what, you open it, man. And it said right there, congratulations, So thank God.
That's interesting. I didn't know. I've been involved in boxing for a long time, and I didn't know that there was actually classes and lessons that you can take for that. I thought it was something that you kind of learned and the amateurs and stuff like that. Are those classes still around?
They haven't had a class yet, but mind you, I did 5 years in the amateurs prior, and it's just funny how God always has a plan, bro. I did 5 years, but Melody, may she rest in peace. I got no beef with her. She wouldn't let me referee. Mind you, a lot of it was my fault. I was still into the neighborhood, and she knew that, and maybe she just didn't want me representing the amateur boxing, But now, this is 1998. Now what they want you to do, you got to at least put 5 years into the amateurs. And within those 5 years, you got to put your name in the hat with the State Athletic Commission, Andy Foster, and you got to come to the fights on your dollar. You got to critique the referee and on paper say what they did wrong or did better or could have done better. You got to judge on your own, and it's still in
so
California.
You got to go through that for 5 years, you said?
No, I'm saying back then I was in amateurs for 5 years, and Melody wouldn't let me referee. So
but now, if you want to be a ref now, you got to go through the amateurs and do that whole process. How long is that process? How long do you have to be a ref in the amateurs before you can actually go and be a pro ref?
I can't quote Andy Foster, but he would like us, like all the amateurs, at least have 5 years in the amateurs to become a pro referee. And even, mind you, it's not a right. You could get a license as a referee, but it's a privilege. It's not a right. Just because you get a license doesn't mean you're going to work.
Wow. That's a pretty extensive program, which,
yeah.
And I'll tell you what, from my experience with the commission, that's a very well put together system that you guys follow that are there. I mean, you guys are all underneath a lot of eyeballs, not to mention just the public, but also, you got your peers that are with you. You got your, whoever's, the commission, but you guys hustle, man. I mean, there's a.
You know what, bro? To toot California's horn, we have training. We're held accountable. You can be the man today, and if you drop the ball, like Andy Foster says, you'll work, but you're gonna be sat down for a while.
Wow!
So we have extensive training. I don't know if you know. Well, I'm sure you know Jack Reeves. He did the main event last night.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We have a class arbiter sport, and man, you have officials from all over the world coming to his classes, and we have to go to those classes.
I know Jack, and I'm gonna watch my words because of course
get me in trouble, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. But
there
was a couple of questionable moves last night that I'm certain that he didn't do anything purposely. But sometimes they give this certain image to people that don't know the game or don't know these people, and on TV it looks like it's something completely different. And knowing Jack, we know that that's not the case. But somebody on the outside sees that. I mean, and it's very questionable. I mean, how do you feel? What you saw last night?
This is just my opinion. I'm not going to talk for Jack because I haven't spoken to him since last night. But well, first of all, what are you talking about? Well, what is it that you guys are thinking, questioning about?
I'm gonna go and say there was a moment that I saw little highlights of it. I didn't see the entire fight, so I'm gonna put that out there. So I didn't. I'm not gonna get the whole thing, but between rounds, I think it was between the 9th and the 10th. It looked like they were coming off a nice round, right? I mean, I don't think I missed the action, and then it looked like he was telling them that he needs to throw punches. But this kid looked like he was throwing punches to me, at least from what I saw. I didn't see the whole fight.
I was ringside the whole fight, and shame on you for not watching the whole fight.
Yes, I agree. Especially
because,
like that.
Because what you're doing right now, brother, you're playing Monday morning quarterback, which we're all guilty of.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're all guilty of that. I even do it. You know what I mean? But with all due respect, if you're gonna question Jack, watch the whole fight, brother. Watch the whole fight for the simple fact it built up to that moment where he was telling him throw punches. What Jack was doing was evaluating him whether to stop the fight, because mind you, in the whole 12 rounds, the doctor came up twice. Jack didn't call him. The doctor came up on his own.
That's why I disclosed. That's why I disclosed that I didn't watch it, because somebody like you that was actually there could tell me the whole story, not just the little bit that I saw, right? And would probably presume.
Now, what a great answer that was.
And what it is you want to educate that guy that spent his hard-working money and he's way up there in the nosebleed section. You want to let him know what you're doing in the ring. You know, he spent his hard work money to come, so we owe it to them as much as we owe it to the guy sitting ringside. And when the doctors comes up, you got to understand they're looking to stop that fight. But mind you, it's a title fight. You don't want to steal from this Fundura's opponent. You don't want to take his chance away. He was constantly throwing punches. Every time Jack was thinking about, and this is me saying it, I haven't talked to Jack. Every time I seen that, it looked like Jack wanted to stop the fight. Fundura's opponent kept throwing punches, and he'd land a few punches. But when Jack did, I remember seeing Jack said, hey, throw punches. What it is, he's trying to tell him, hey, you're getting touched up a little bit. If you don't start throwing punches, I'm going to stop the fight. And he threw punches. Yep.
Nice. Hey, so I saw here, I was looking up BoxRec. Sorry, Dave, but I was really quick. I saw that you mentioned you turned pro as a ref 1998. I look back on BoxRec. You know, BoxRec has everything. I mean, it seems like you predate BoxRec then, because I see you go down to 2000 only here on a Juan Diaz fight that you did back then, right?
Yeah.
Julio Diaz.
Yeah, that was my first ESPN fight. Yeah.
Wow, I was ringside at that fight there. Against Keith Thurman.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't know it was him though.
So all those fights, you got one that stands out more than any of the other ones out there?
There's a lot of fights, bro. I mean, to be honest, bro, you guys know the club fights are probably the most exciting fights, because those guys are hungry. Those youngsters, they don't care about money. They just want to get to the top, and whoever's standing in front of them, they're going to give them hell, bro. You know what I mean? And when you get to the top level, and sometimes those guys are real cautious, and sometimes, like last night, all three of the TV fights were awesome. They were very exciting.
That always happens when I don't watch the fights, man. Damn.
There you go.
For real. If I watch them and they're like slow fights or whatever, but
I mean, the biggest fight that I think stands out to me, and it wasn't even a real fight, was when I did the Mike Tyson fight. It didn't faze me at first that I got the Mike Tyson fight, but remember in the old days when Mike Tyson would before he'd get in the ring, he'd walk back and forth and look across the ring, and he just wouldn't break his face, bro. He just walked back and forth staring at his opponent. When I got in the ring, it didn't faze me. And then when Mike got in the ring and he started doing that and looking at Roy Jones, I thought to myself, wow, that's the legendary Mike Tyson, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was a fun thing, you know? So,
wow.
I mean, do you get recognized a lot in the street?
A few times, bro. A few times I have, you know.
And like I just do they ever hit you with the what happened here question, bro? What happened here? What happened in this fight? Do you ever get that?
Yeah, a few times I have. You know, I just like sometimes they ask me stuff about other officials, and I'm not gonna criticize somebody else. You know,
Right, right.
because when they're in there, bro, you got to remember. I mean, jumping ahead when I seen jumping ahead to my son Adrian, and then when I used to fight as a kid, and if not in the street, you know, when you're in the mix, bro, you hear stuff and the grunts and the cries and the moans. That's my child, bro. So when you're in the ring, not even people in ringside could hear what a referee hears, you know. So, you know, when somebody says, "Hey, what was that referee thinking?" or "What was that?" Ask that referee, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, being up as a coach on the corners, I've also been there while my son has been in the ring too in the amateurs. And I had a mom ask me yesterday. She's one of our moms from our gym, and this is where Arlene could come in right here too. And I'll ask you this because her question to me was, and they're probably watching the show right now too. It's Jose and Rosa Aguilera. Um, she asked me, Dave, does the feeling that I have when my sons go in the ring, because they're 11 years old, does that ever go away? And I want to ask you that, Arlene.
You're gonna make me cry. It never goes away.
Uh-huh.
It gets worse because, first of all, when they're 8-year-old and they're fighting, it's cute, right? Let's be honest, it's cute. They're fighting. They're starting to build up their skills. Okay, well, now that you're professional, you have skills. The opponent has skills as well. And he's just as good as you because, of course, you want to match a good fight, right? You don't want to give somebody a tomato can. You want to have a good fight. So you have two skilled fighters, and each one of them has their own style, and that's your baby in the ring. He at 8 years old, I wasn't too worried about him getting hit hard because an 8-year-old strength isn't nothing compared to a 21, a 25, a 35-year-old fighter. So when you're talking about just strength alone, and then Ray made a point that he's had mentioned that you don't hear the sound of those hits when you're ringside. Well, I sit ringside a lot of times. I hear the punches, I hear the moans, I see the blood splatter on the mat. And then to think that you're seeing that and it's your son in the ring. I'm a nurse, so I know what a hit can do to your brain. So as we get closer and closer to the fight, I don't like to hear stats on my son's opponent. All I'm doing, my job is just to make sure my son's eating, make sure my son's trying to make weight, make sure that he's on his weight, make sure he's not dehydrating like days before the fight. And most important, I'm praying. I'm not, this is one thing that my son always, from the beginning, he always told me, just be my mom. And that's what I do. I don't ask about the opponent. I don't ask him when he's going to spar again. I don't ask him if he's making weight. All I do is I'm cooking in the kitchen. I'm making sure that I'm giving him his fish, his asparagus, making sure that he has everything that he needs. Is there water in the fridge? Does he have, am I ordering his trunks? I'm taking care of all that in the background. And all I'm doing is just praying, making sure that both of those fighters make it out of the ring safe. Do I pray
Amen to
God has
that.
favor? Yeah, I do.
Amen to
I
that.
do. But at the end of the day, we just want to have both fighters walk out of that ring safe,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know what? If my son was to quit boxing today, it wouldn't faze me at all.
That's right.
Because it really stresses me out, bro. I mean, let's face it, our brains ain't made to take those kind of punches, And I'm sure you guys have, I ain't gonna say no names, but I'm sure you guys have interviewed some fighters with some slurring. And I've been involved in boxing since I was 8 years old. I'm 59 now. A lot of these boxers, after when they fight too long, bro, their motor skills are bad. They got drug issues, anger issues, and you know what? It stresses me out that he fights, But this is what he wants, and mind you, all five of our sons fought. All 5 of them did.
Wow. How many kids do you have?
We have 7, bro.
Wow. Congratulations.
five, five,
Just life, oh.
five,
I just bought a TV
$5.
yesterday, Holmes.
Were they pros, all of them, or just amateurs, or?
No, they were just amateurs. Adrian took it to the next level, you know.
They could not throw a good punch. Even my girls.
Even I have 2 daughters too, you know.
Well, I bet you the girls are tougher than the boys, huh?
That's right.
We raised 4 girls, and our girls, I taught them just like the boys how to throw the hands. And I'll tell you what, my girls were mean. So I can only imagine how mean your girls are. So
I second that one.
coming
My
from a
girls are
boxing
tough.
household,
If you watch the TMZ, the Golden Gloves in 2016, man, that was an ugly sight, bro. And
really.
I got suspended for a year, bro. Yeah, I got
Really?
suspended for a year. And 6 months into that year, I got an email saying they're not going to renew my license.
Oh.
And man, let me tell you, bro, I was on my knees every day. You know what? And this is not to brag. You know, I've been state raised, in and out of camp, youth authority, 2 terms in prison. You know, I met my wife and I got right, but I was still doing the neighborhood stuff. And part of me kept thinking during this suspension is, what am I going to do without boxing in my life, you know? And I was really praying, you know what, God, if this is what you're going to take away my license and no more refereeing, then so be it. But man, thank you, Jesus, man. I got my license back. And
Wow.
Not
Amen.
everybody a
Amen to
second
that.
chance, right?
Yeah, you know, brother. I'll tell you what, and that's why we have an old saying. I mean, House of Pain goes back all the way to Denver, Colorado, and it really started in the '70s. But they didn't. How do you say? Um, come together until the '90s to actually. The Steve Mestis promoter is the one who founded House of Pain, but it came out of 20th Street Gym. We used to box under Ron Lyle,
oh yeah,
and yeah, and you know the ex heavyweight champ, you know, and you know the same stories with a lot of us coming out of the streets of Denver. There's a lot of stories just like that, but I will tell you this much here, and I got to say, proud of all my guys back in Colorado. It actually stretches all the way down to Arizona and a few other states, and even into Mexico. That we've got House of Pains all over, and these brothers that are running it they're younger than me, but they're close to my age, some of them, but a lot of them are younger than I am. Some of them are older. I got Coach Burn Dog Aragon. He's a little bit older than me, but it's similar stories.
yeah.
You know, we understand the the um, the damages that boxing could bring to us or what have you, but when we look at the picture overall, you know, we always have the saying, and it's around, boxing saves more lives than it'll ever take, you know, and it goes all the way around, from whether you're a boxer or whether you're a coach or whether you're a mentor, or whether you're a manager, whether you're a promoter, you know, all the way around. We all have found a way in our lives, and God has guided us in our journeys to have this, because it is a dangerous sport. But what is it? What is more dangerous than us running around in the streets doing drugs and having to kill
Right.
people, and, you know, end up in prison? You know, so you know, it's a blessing to hear you say that. And real quick, we have a couple of we have a couple of people we got to do a shout out to, if you don't mind. I'm going to say that, but then there's a couple of questions in there for you, Ray, from our fans. Okay, we got Rokas. All right, big show for them tomorrow. We got a banner. We have the banner up for them. We'll put it back up. We got Greg Chapin. That's actually one of my mentors here in Temecula, California. Thanks for joining us, Greg. We got Jose Morel. Great lineup of incredible folks. Greg says, and Jose Morel says, hi, Ray and crew. Great work last night. Jerry
Thank
Salinas.
you.
The ref said he wasn't throwing hard, but he was throwing at Fundora. He was just missing. So, yeah, we went over that there, Jose. Manuel Livas, who is local here. OG Popeye Ray. So he's shouting you out. We got Angel Lopez. Thanks for joining us twice from Denver, Colorado. House of what? House of Pain, baby. We've got Steve Mestis, Denver. He's on there. Love you, boss. We're all happy for you. So there's a lot of guys up here that are shouting you out, but one of them was, I think we're all curious about this. Ray, how did you get your name, Popeye?
You know what? It's a Vario name. It's a Vario name. When I was young, just boxing. I always had weight issues, bro. So I was always in the gym, me and my brothers, and I to toot my own horn, I wasn't that good of a fighter, but I was tough. I mean, back in the day, I thought I was the best fighter, but now looking back, I just was tough. If you stood still for me in the ring or even in the street, I could do good. I could throw combination. I just couldn't get my feet to work with my hands, you know. And Ben Lira used to train me. So you know, Ben Lira is the guru of boxing, in my opinion. He's a teacher, you know. But so they ended up calling me Popeye from a young age, and it just stuck. And then when I got into the neighborhood, you know, Popeye Ray.
Wow, what a good name it is. I like it. I like it. It stands for a lot. It stands for power. Stands for a lot of things, especially coming from the neighborhood, you know, back in the days or what have you. But it's much respect to you,
Thank you
for where you came from and where you're at today. And you have your foundation right there, your wife, and then you have 7 amazing kids. Now I got to ask this question: how many grandkids do you guys have now?
Oh man, we got 6, right? 6.
6.
I got they're my everything, bro. They're my everything. I mean, I'm pretty man. All I could say is when it comes to my grandkids, man, I adore them, man. I adore them.
Oh,
the fighting blood's in it too, you know.
Oh yeah,
I got my son Ray Jr. He two of them are in jiu-jitsu, MMA, and then I got my other grandson Jesse from my daughter. Man, this kid, I'm not joking, bro. He was raised in the gym literally as an infant, and at 5 years old, I got him on YouTube. Man, this kid, he doesn't just box; he's got style already, you know. So,
wow.
Yeah, I love my. Awesome.
That's awesome. What a blessing for you and your family, and especially for where you came from and where you're at today. This huge success that you have is just it's what a blessing. It's a blessing for us all to hear, you know, because everybody's got their own stories and their own backgrounds, you know. But it's really is nice to how do you say? It really is nice to know that there's hope in this world for all of us.
Yeah.
You know, so and it's not always the end because, you know, how many times in our lives do we come up to the point where where are we at now? You know, where we're at the end of what, and, you know, what do we have to look forward to? I have nothing to look forward to in my life anymore. And, you know, God always presents some type of opportunity, some way, somehow. We just got to keep our eyes open and our ears open to see it. So just to all the young brothers out there, man, you know, find something good to get into because there's blessings for you guys waiting for you out there. It's not the end of the world, believe me, even though it feels like it is at times.
I have an older brother that he's been out 2 years now, but he did 35 years straight, brother.
Whoa,
and you know what?
Yeah.
He's out, and if you talk to him, bro, you wouldn't even think of spend a day in jail. You know, he's just said, "I'm so done with that life," and this is why when I do talk to youngsters, I mean, let's face it, there's some youngsters out there. There's nothing you're gonna tell them, bro. They want to be nothing you gonna say to them, you know. But the ones that are struggling, you just got to tell them, bro, if that's the life you want, then don't complain. Because if you think you don't want to listen to rules now, you're going to listen in there, whether it's to the man or to whoever's running the yard. So all that mentality is, I don't like listening to rules. I'm going to do what I want. There's consequences, brother, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's better to be part of an organization inside of boxing and find your way some way, somehow. It doesn't have to be in the ring all the time. You could be a mentor, a coach, anything, man. Boxing has so much to offer, you know, especially with the commissions, you know, to be able to get involved in the commissions, you know, I really enjoy watching you guys work. I enjoy everybody from the jobs all the way from inside the locker rooms, getting each opponent ready, going over their hand wrapping, making sure that they got their mouthpieces set. It's amazing how well, especially the California Athletic Commission, handles the professional fighters and even the amateur fighters, because we have a bunch of amateur fighters ourselves, and it's just good to know, because it gives you a feeling that this isn't just something that everybody's throwing you in. We all have a job. We're all in here to do it, and it
Right.
makes it comforting, especially for me, a coach, to know that I'm doing the right thing and I'm in the right lines of where I'm supposed to be to help my fighter get to that ring and get out safe as well. So very comforting to work with you guys, to work with all the commission. Actually, it's amazing.
And I gotta hand it to you, because one thing that you guys definitely do, and I'm speaking for, I would say, I don't think I've met anybody with any of the referees or anybody in the commission that doesn't act professional at all times. I gotta hand it to you guys, man. You guys are super professional, and I'm bringing this up because I'm sure that standard that the commission sets for you guys carries over into your daily life, right? And helps you stay straight and helps you stay out of trouble, right?
It does, man.
Wow.
I mean, at this point, first and foremost, I don't want to just talk Christian. I want to act like a Christian, and it's hard, brother. I'm not perfect, and there's no perfect.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean?
Looks
I think
My children, my grandchildren, and when I got my license back, the commissioner, John Corelli, he said, "You know what, Ray? You represent California even when you're not in refereeing, And he's right, I mean, just real quick, I belong to the Teamsters, and we had an election this past week, and it didn't go my way. And there was a lot of nasty politics, and you know what? I'm just going to pray about it and just go about my business, But it was ugly, brother. It got ugly, real ugly. When you have a bunch of men running an organization, there's going to be a lot of ugliness,
Oh, yeah.
But yes, we're held accountable, and I try to mind my P's and Q's. I try to stay in my own lane. This is why when I talked about my podcast, that God willing, if it happens, I'm gonna stay away from all the street politics. I'm not gonna get into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to ruffle no feathers, bro.
No, and I see how you are, because we've met plenty of times, but it's always been professional, and I could say that about almost any referee. You say hi to them, you're cordial, but it stays there, and I respect that as somebody who's involved in the game, not as a competitor, right? Not me fighting, but actually, you refed one of my fights when I used to fight. That's
Oh,
I was
okay.
looking, I was online looking for the picture. I couldn't find it, so but that's one of my claim to fame. I was refed by by this guy. When I see people, oh yeah, he refed one of my fights, when I watch a TV. So it's kind of cool. But no, I mean, you guys definitely take your professionalism to another level, and it's very respectable. It really is. And I see that not only you, I see like Kais Jr., super professional. I can imagine him being like that away from the ring as well, just being a very, very straightforward guy, and I respect that on you guys a lot.
Ray is also trained our nephew Jerry Vasquez. Jerry was with us last night at the fights as well, and he's a big fan of yours, Ray. Not to mention you trained him in boxing, and he speaks so highly of you. He's always happy to be around boxing, and you helped him with that dream, and he wants to get back to it some way, somehow. And I'm going to help him either get to me in the corners or some way he wants to move over here closer to us to Temecula. And if he does, he's got a home here for us, because his wife,
Great kid, man.
and his wife said it last night. She said it to one of my other boxers that were there, because we had a few boxers that came to the fights, and one of them is getting he's in a relationship, and we have a joke in the gym, because a lot of us are Indian too. So we have one of them is she a dream catcher or a dream killer? So we were busting his chops yesterday because he's got a girlfriend and he hasn't been boxing. And my niece, Jerry's wife, turned around and gave him some advice. And he says, if you love boxing, do not give it up because you're going to regret it down the line. She says, I'm
Oh,
the
that's
reason.
awesome, bro. That's awesome
Yep.
to hear.
Yeah. And she says,
you know what?
because, yeah.
Go ahead,
Because,
brother. Go ahead.
yeah, because she says because she's been with her husband for almost 20 years, and it took him away from the boxing game, and he regrets it and misses it so much. And the boxer, listen, his brother was sitting right next to him, and his brother is just an incredible boxer, and I think he gets it. So it was something for our niece to say that about her husband and speak the truth about giving up something that you truly love, because down the line there's going to be that major regret. And I know my son himself, great boxer, amazing athlete and talent, and he had his share of the dream breakers as well. But we won't go there.
I lucked out then. I got me a dream maker, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's a dream catcher, right?
Me too.
I have a question
That's right. That's
for
right.
Arlene. I did you get into boxing because when you met Ray, or were you already in boxing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I didn't know what a punch was, what a jab was until I met Ray. And
Okay.
now being with him, I learned so much more when I'm watching a fight. I can score a fight now, and I'm scoring it, and I'll be asking Ray, like, who won that round? And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I agree with you. Like, I'm thinking,
Yeah,
when
you
we
guys
go to the conventions, or we're talking, or he's talking boxing with another referee, like how he was mentioning about Jack, what he was doing about with that fighter.
right.
And he was testing him out, because they had already called the doctor twice. Like, in my mind, I already know what he's talking about, because I hear them talking all the time when they're training. They always go to training seminars. So I'm always there listening. So I learn as well.
So I mean, I would consider you an expert by now. I mean, after all these years, of course.
I don't
right?
want to say expert, but
But that's what it is.
I have some pretty good knowledge.
You gotta be cool, bro. I'm always wrong as it is, eh?
The reason I asked is because my wife is the same way. She didn't, not even her family. They're never really a boxing family. We met, and then now I consult with her, and as you guys know, I manage fighters and I do some promotions. So whenever I look at a kid, I mean, I turn around and say, what do you think? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I consult her.
Co-signer's always good, huh?
I mean, hey, they give you a different perspective. And one thing about you, and my wife, and I'm sure you, Arlene, is that you're going to hear it straight out, the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you like it or not. So, and that I can
Right.
respect, and I'm sure Ray does as well.
That's right. And you know what? It's worse when you're with the fans in the audience, and your husband's in the ring. You know what I mean? Like,
and they don't know that you're his wife, right?
Well, you know what? They don't know that, but you'll hear like a lot of people. Let's be honest, like the audience just wants to see blood, right?
Yeah.
And versus the referee, they're there for the safety of the fighters. So you have two different thought processes going on. So when you hear somebody down talking the ref, mind you, my husband, because my husband's protecting the fighters, you want to see a good fight. That's what you went for, right? You pay money for a ticket. You want to see some blood. But my husband doesn't want to see that as a ref. He wants to see both of those guys go home. He wants to see a fair fight, He wants to make sure nobody gets hurt. That's his job. So you're hearing all this in the background, and I just got to like bite my teeth and be like, just watch the fight, Arlene. Just watch the fight.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's funny you say that, because whenever Ray has reffed any of my guys' fights, you get a feel for the different styles of reffing, right?
Uh-huh.
And on the inside, I always tell these guys, just keep fighting. He's gonna let you fight. So I respect the fact that
and that's his thing. That's one thing he always tells.
Yeah, like
he's known for that. He's known to he gives him a chance.
Exactly.
He gives them a chance. Like, he'll tell them, like, you got to show me something, brother. If you don't show me nothing, then you know what? You leave me no choice but to stop it. But if they show him something, he'll let them go a little longer. But if they're not showing anything, then of course, safety always comes first.
It's a very fine line, isn't it, Ray?
Well, and with that said too, is I'm really like I said, when I did fight, I wasn't good from the outside. I was only good from the inside. So I just try to say, you know what? If you guys can fight out of it, fight out of it. Your hands are free. Work out of there. Because some fighters, they want to be inside. And if you break them right away, you're stealing from that guy trying to work inside, you know?
Let me ask you: do certain attitudes, like when you perceive, or when people start talking about certain fighters, like they'll say, let's say, for instance, in Arturo Gatti, that guy had a huge heart.
Yeah.
He'll fight through anything, and he's fighting, right? So
Yeah.
basically, you got to protect him from himself. But at what point? I mean, does that go into your thinking? I mean, I gotta let this guy fight because he's known to have heart. He's known to fight, as opposed to somebody who doesn't really do that. Are you gonna give them the same chance, or?
Well, with that said, I mean, Andy Foster, when he gives you an assignment, he sends you the stats, the statistics of each fighter, what their percentage is, what their last fight was like, if they were knocked out, if they've ever been knocked out, who they fought, were they A fighters, B fighters. So you take that all into consideration. But something like a known fighter like that, like my fight last night, Dames, I knew he was, or was it Montel? I'm mixing up names, but
Carlos Adame and Montiel. You're right.
So I knew the Mexican kid was a slow starter, but he did have a lot of knockouts. And I knew the Dominican Republic kid was just a hard puncher, bro. But this Mexican kid, man, he was just getting hit hard, bro. And when he was getting hit, like I said, he was like, oh, and I could hear that, man. And I was saying, you know what? It's a world title fight. Let me take him out. And that's why if you see prior to the stoppage, I told him, come on, show me something. And he was just getting hit way too hard. But he's such in great shape. Your legs are telling you, stay up, stay up. And as far as I know, I all the bosses, my evaluation was perfect. Jack Reese said it was good. The TV said it was a good stoppage. And sometimes you just got to, like you said, Gotti, you got to help a guy out because he's not going down. Yeah. He's not going to go down. The ones that do throw in the towel, and I'm not, maybe they had a reason why to throw in the towel. They're known for that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know who those couple pro fighters that gave in, threw in the towel on their own. Yeah. They're known for that. But majority of fighters, they go in there and they're willing to give their life to win. Yeah. And this is why I say the club fights are awesome, bro. Mm-hmm. Because they just want to go in there and win, bro. You know what I mean?
Watching from the stands last night, of course, I got to hang out after our fight. Watching for the stands, when I saw the Adame Montiel fight, wow. Let me tell you something. The way Adame turned up that level on the second round and third round, no, there is just no way Montiel is going to weather that storm, and he was going to go out regardless from what we've seen. And you saved him.
He's a slow starter as it is, right? So he was only going to get stronger.
It doesn't matter because at that point there, it was obvious that the onslaught.
And that's what my answer. If you would have told me that, hey Ray, give him a chance. He's a slow starter. I'm not there to worry about his style. I'm there to keep him safe. I know you're not confronting me like that.
Right. No, but I it's good to know because we like to as a fan. I'm talking to you as a fan most of the time here. I do watch my words because we may work together, but as a fan, I like to know sometimes what goes into these thinkings. Like for instance, I wasn't, again, I've been around boxing for a long time and I wasn't aware, and maybe I never thought of it really, but that you guys get to study these fights before you go in there and ref them. Now, is that the case on the lower level fights as well, or is it just
every fight card you get from California? Andy Foster's a safety freak, bro. He's like, he's trying to put into law right now. My son fights at 135, and you weigh in at that day, the day before the fight. The next day, you have to weigh in again. And if you come in don't quote me on that. If you come in 10 to 12 pounds heavier than 135, Andy Foster wants to make it a law where he can make you fight the next fight at a higher weight.
Wow.
Because of the dehydration. I mean, my wife can explain to you, dehydration is bad, bro.
Absolutely.
Have you ever seen these guys get on the scale and their eyes are way back here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And our doctors give us training every 6 months. You know, your brain sits in jelly, bro. And when you dehydrate, all that jelly goes away. Not all of it, but majority of it. And that's what makes your eyes sink in. So it takes up to 32 to 48 hours for all that jelly to come back. And they're fighting the very next day.
Yeah.
And you know how you get knocked out? I'm sure you guys have heard it. Your brain sits in that jelly. And when there's no jelly and you get hit and your brain touches the walls of your skull, that's a knockout.
Yeah.
And sometimes your brain won't go back down. It expands. That's when it gets dangerous. So Andy Foster's quick to say, did you read your stats, Ray? Did you read your stats, Jack? You know, Jack's our trainer, and he still questions Jack. You know what I mean? He's the type. He's the type. If there's no controversy of the night, it's a good night.
Yeah.
But he don't even want commentary questioning us. Well, why'd you do that? Why? He don't want that. Yeah. But he knows it's going to happen because in the defense of the judges, it's a 10 must round, right? A winner gets 10, a loser gets 9 in a round. But yet some of the commentary will say, oh, that's a 10-10 round. and you know what I mean? And that could throw off the whole 10 rounds, 12 rounds.
I don't agree on 10-10 rounds myself. I don't agree on
There's a winner and there's a loser.
That's right. And if we keep having commentary saying 10-10, 10, oh, that's a 10-10, that's an even round. Imagine how the score will look.
Yeah.
And say, what was that judge looking at? You know,
I'm not even too happy about having even number rounds. I think there should be odd number rounds. That's what I mean. It sounds logical, but I don't know. You know,
real quick, guys. I got to give a shout out to our peeps that are on board with this again. Steve Mestis from Denver, Colorado. That's our promoter. What's up, Steve? The boss man. We got Damian Stone. Thank you for joining us. We got Troy Rodriguez, which is my primo, my cousin from Colorado. We got Brittany, who's not here with us today. Brittany has a migraine. Usually she's on board with us, and she's a ring announcer as well. Back in Colorado, we got Velda Stewart. We got Quatley Longoria Trujillo, which is my son. Family is everything. We got Cindy Amador. Amador right here. Hello, everyone. Shout out to my first and favorite referee, Popeye Ray from Cindy Amador. We got Rita de Casia Torreblanca Amura. She's a good friend of ours. She's on board. We got Susan McGee Subish, and I'm sure Mike. Pray that Mike is feeling better and you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining the show. And if there's anybody else that I haven't shouted out earlier, I seen a few people there that maybe they're still not there or they kind of had to go somewhere. But thank you for joining us here with Popeye Ray and his beautiful wife Arlene, talking boxing and about inside the ring. This is where you're going to get the story right from inside the ring. Every one of us here works in the boxing business some way, somehow. And that's why we're bringing it to you from inside the ropes. Well, anyway, you know, I wanted to go back with you, Arlene, and you know, my wife, when I first put my boys in football, you know, she looked at me and she goes, "Are you kidding me? You're gonna let them smack each other up or whatever?" And I'll tell you what, we're going to say about 3 or 4 games into it, this woman turned into a crazy football mom. She was, you know, I want you to rip their hearts out. I want you to eat it right in front of me, you know. And then as they got into boxing, of course, like I said, our girls were pretty tough. But when our son David took more into it, man, she was in there right. You know, I mean, it was we were lucky that she didn't climb into the ring either. You know, because she's a tough woman. And I'll tell you where she was raised, too. She was raised right there in San Bernardino, and all the familia is from San Bernardino and Riverside. So shout out to everybody out there, too. She was raised on Mount Vernon, and then the Riverside family was all Casablanca. So Shout out to everybody that's watching from out there as well.
Watch out! What we throwing out varios now or what?
Yeah, something like that. What the
Just say where we're from, Ray. You know, just where we're
Right.
from.
Well, I grew up in the gardens.
You know what? I didn't have a problem with my kids going into. I guess let's throw out the neighborhood, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
From the same neighborhood, so I was raised in the same neighborhood. So you know what? I wanted my kids to be tough. So you ain't gonna teach kids being tough in front of a TV. You know, they need to get their knees dirty. They need to get, they need to get wet. Let's let them stick their feet in the water a little bit. You know, so football keeps them out of the streets. It keeps them, doing something good. And we had all boys. We had all little ones, right? We had 4 little boys back to back.
Wow.
So we had to keep them busy. So we kept them in football, and it was a good way, to teach them, to give them some type of order. There was school. You had to go to school. After school, we'd go to practice. After practice, we'd come home, we'd shower, and we'd go to sleep. And then, you know what? We'd do the same thing the next day.
Pobrecito, my Ray Jr., man. I was young and dumb, and I used to make him play tackle football, and then after football we'd go spar at the boxing gym. Man, I don't know what I was thinking, man. Poor guy. Right?
Yeah. I always tell everybody that my kids didn't need friends to get in trouble. They had each other. There was 4 of them running around, so me and Ray had our hands full all the time.
I bet you, God forbid you make your grandkids go through any of that, right?
No.
Oh.
So whatever season was in, we were there. Okay, sign us up ×4. We were there.
Wow, yep. Wow. I remember those days as well. Let me do a couple other little shout outs real quick. We got Roca Sports. See the banner up there. It says, please see Monday night boxing show, the boxing rundown. We got to shout out those guys. They're always supporting us as well. And they also support our co-host that's not with us today, and that's Serge Estrada. And I don't know if you guys have been keeping that out on social media, but they came out with a GoFundMe page for his wife, Anna, who is right now battling cancer, and they have breast cancer, and they have been through this before, and now they're going through it again. So prayers are going out to you guys, and we want to thank everybody, Nancy Rodriguez, Boxing Rocas, all the guys from the Boxing Rundown show. You guys are awesome and amazing for putting that together. We want to support you guys on that as well. What a blessing. And then
and we're gonna plug the shirt. Go on Sergio's page, Big Serge the Cut Man. Go on our Black House Boxing, or I shared it on my personal Facebook for the Supreme Boxing, breast cancer awareness shirt, and a lot of those proceeds. I don't know what percentage, but most of them are going to help out Sergio and Anna, who are very close personal friends of ours and in our family. And we were with them last night. They came by and they're doing good. So please support them. Go on there and get a shirt and help out Big Serge, because that guy, I'm sorry?
Time right now is Breast Awareness Month
It
month.
is.
So wear your pink. Show your support for her.
Yes, please do. And Sergio, if you guys know Sergio, that guy goes all out for everybody. If you need something, he's gonna do it 100%, like 110. So let's do the same for him. So go out there and let's get that shirt.
Absolutely. So Ray, let's talk about the future here, and what you're planning on doing with the Third Man in the Ring, with your podcast, your show. Tell us a little bit about what you have in mind there.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to speak for all the officials, but I just want to educate the fans. I want to bring on professional referees, professional boxing, professional MMA, and judges as well. And just I want to talk about the fights after it, not before. And as an official, how do you say it? Ethically? Mm-hmm. Ethically, it wouldn't be right if I interviewed active fighters. So I'm not going to interview any active fighters. I'll do retired fighters, and I already got a few lineups. And but I just want to educate the fans. Like, we'll talk about Jack's fight. You know what I mean? We'll talk about my fight. And if there's controversy, we'll say what we thought and what the fans thought. At the same time, I'm going to interview other stuff, actors. I got two actors that are willing to come on my show. God willing, I'm calling it a show already, but yeah. So,
Good.
and it's I got it on YouTube. It's Third Man in the Ring 13. I don't know where the 13 came from. That's Southern California or what?
It's
But
because you're
speak
predicting
it.
13 years. You're predicting 13 years of success in the business.
That's right.
But you got to speak it, believe it, and receive it, brother. Speak it, believe it, and receive it, and it's already there. And another thing too, Ray, we'd love to have you on board with us till you launch, and we want to help you out with that getting you situated in any way that we possibly can with the experience. And you could exhaust the resources that we have. We'd love to back you up in that, brother, and help you launch into a successful new year. You and your family, you guys deserve it. God is good all the time. It's like we say, like I said, there's so many different aspects of this boxing world that it could take us in many different journeys of our lives, and that's what we're all doing here. And it takes people that are not lazy. Lazy people don't get nothing done but talk about it. Busy people don't have time to talk about it because they're too busy getting it done. So again, too, Ray, we also want to invite you on board, and we'll let you know when we don't have another fighter on our show. We would love to bring you on and talk about, because we know we're learning the rules, and there's a lot of rules for us to know. And we couldn't think of a better teacher than you to help us with that. And so we'd like to invite you on. Every time, like I said, we don't have a boxer on, and if we got a coach or if we got somebody else in the boxing world, we would love to have your point of view on all aspects. It just brings more to our show as well, and it's a blessing to our listeners and our viewers as well.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. So this won't be our last time. So we won't say goodbye. We're just going to say till next week. And yeah, but I got to give a shout out to Chapita. She fought Gabriela Fundora yesterday. Went to a 10-round decision. Now, I haven't got to see the fight other than on the corner of the ring, and there was a cameraman right in my way. But that's just the way it goes. So I'm going to go back and look at it, and then I'll do my point system on it, and I'll judge it from there. But all I have to say is Chapita was there for 10 rounds.
Right.
She was there for 10 rounds, banging it out. And, if her stock doesn't go up, then I don't know what it takes for somebody's stock to go up. I clowned
Fundura, and I told him, man, you fought like a Chicano, because he's not like Chicano, he's not Mexican. He's from Costa Rica or something like that, or Dominican Republic. I don't know, but yeah. And I just told him, you fought like a righteous Chicano, eh?
Yeah, he did.
And I told his sister, just smiled at him.
And they're two different style fighters. I can't believe this guy's 6'6" or 6'7", and he's fighting on the inside. He loves it.
Same as his sister, fights just like him.
Yeah,
she could have fought outside and outpointed her, but no, that's why they both did a great fight. The girls had a great fight, both of them.
Absolutely. So shout out to the Fundora family too, man. Congratulations to you guys. That is awesome. A brother and sister duo. We'd like to get them on the show, and including their father. We'd like to get him on the show too, and possibly I think who else is training them? I think Mr. Lira is training them as well. So we'd like to get them all on the show. Yeah. Good family, really nice people. And they got, I talked to them and I told them, regardless, no matter what, at the end of the day, we're all fans of yours. And yeah, we still are, Awesome. But yeah, does anybody? Omar.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You there?
It cut off a little bit, that's why. I'm sorry.
That's all right, man. That's why I'm waking you up here, man. But yeah, is there anything else you'd like to say before we close out the show?
No, I just want to give a shout out to to you and your family and all the officials out there, especially I have mad respect to everybody, especially the officials, especially the referees, shout out to all you guys.
Thank you, brother.
No problem.
Thanks. Ray, well, I'll just say I'll see you later because I see you at fights quite often. We've never actually sat down and had a conversation. Just two dudes talking. But this is the most we've ever spoken. I know your role, and we have to play our part. Of course, we're working, so you keep it always profesh. I look forward to speaking with you again on a casual level on another show or just in person, man. It was great getting that knowledge, bro. Because just in this little bit, I learned so much. I'm gonna be watching that show because I want to see that perspective. I want to hear what you guys think because it's very valuable, and you guys
Yeah.
get to teach a lot of people. A lot of these questions that I'm asking them as a fan, and they're questions that I get asked because I'm in the business. So they ask me these questions, and I don't know what you guys are thinking, or you know what I mean. So that's why I ask you, and I appreciate the knowledge, and we definitely look forward to hearing you on the show. And Arlene, pleased to meet you. One day I hope to meet you in person as well. And you can meet my wife, and you guys can exchange notes right there.
I like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We'll have to plan a day that we can all get together with our
Yeah.
wives and and get everybody together. That'd be an awesome time. So
yeah.
we'll continue to talk about that. But as for now, Ray, would you like to say any last words?
I just want to do a little preaching, man. What's happening in the world nowadays, guys. You just got to stay right with God, man. Whether your belief is the rabbit foot, mine is God, and I just want to say, He's real, man. What's happening in the world, we got to just stay right with God and just keep pushing forward. Smile every day, make a difference.
Nice.
Like you guys say in the gym. I'm in the gym, help these kids out, and you know what? Keep your eyes on God, brother. And thank you for having me on, me and my wife, and amen, brother.
Now, Arlene, we would like to ask you if you have any last words to say.
The same thing. You know what? I'm going to support him. You can't go
Fantastic.
out nowadays and have fun like you used to without having to look over your shoulder, thinking that something's going to go wrong. So my thing to everybody is just be nice. Be nice. If you can't go out, everybody has a chip on their shoulder. I feel like you don't want to go take your kids out anymore. I'm afraid to take my grandkids out now. So, if we can all just remember, like, you know what, just be nice to one another. No one's more important than anyone. We're all important. And if we can all just get along, we can make this world a better place,
I'll remind her that when she makes me take out the trash at 9:30.
Be nice.
Should have did it at 5, right?
You got to beat her to the punch, Ray.
Right.
And don't think that jersey didn't go unnoticed, man. That's Eric Dickerson, right?
Man, they got socked up today, man.
I seen that, but it's still early, man.
Bro.
They're a playoff team, so they're just getting ready for the playoffs. They'll be all right.
All right. Way I want to look at it as well.
They'll be all right.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
And thank you guys for bringing up Third Man in the Ring. We appreciate your guys' support. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody, all my peeps from all angles. This is for Brittany Serrano, Big Serge Estrada, who couldn't join us today. And again, shout out to Ana Estrada. We love you guys. We're praying for you guys, and we're here as much as we can be for you guys. Everybody be blessed. Ray, I'll be talking here real soon. Be blessed, everybody.
Guys.